it's still functioning, you know, and they're not fully aware, yet the ball's already rolling as far as us meeting, you know, the new limits guidelines as far as NDP has permitted, so, it was 15, 20 minutes, you know, they walked around and off they went, eventful as far as that goes.
They will be sending a report out.
Yes, they will.
It will come roughly in a week. In that report, they will list several things, but probably the only major thing that you're gonna be facing is that phone dial right off the bat. You know, they'll list some other things probably, but they're relatively minor. They'll give you some time for those.
Well, that's okay if we've made the motion tonight
Yeah,
to
we're
replace
right
them,
up
so
for
we're
it.
moving forward and
Yeah,
we should
No
be okay with them.
yeah, we'll have to do that.
Now, when that report comes, will it come to you or it'll come to the city hall? Okay. Make a note of that, there will be a report coming, and when it comes, I wanna see it immediately.
Anything else as far as the grants?
And we're viable, right, Case?
What?
We're viable?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Yes, we are viable now. That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
You got anything else on
Okay.
the sewer?
The sewer, the report has been submitted to the DNR. They will be making comments, but so far we haven't received any comments back yet at all. That's kind of, I mean, it takes a little while.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me if it takes 30 to 60 days to get any comments, really. But they will make comments, and then at that point in time, you'll start, you know, looking at what's feasible and so forth. Sometimes there's, you know, it just depends on how they view things. And you just kind of have to wait that long before you really do much.
I couldn't wait for the permit, we had to expedite that. But this part of it, the longer that they wait, the longer I have to put financing together and try to figure out. So if they wanna sit on this for a while, have a good time.
Parking.
Got anything else with that? Okay, parking. Last year, we put a notice in the paper that said in the event of snow and the amount of 4 inches or more, there will be no vehicles allowed parked on Main Street of Lime Springs between 3 AM and 6 AM by order of city council. How did you want that changed?
Just 3 to 6.
Just 3 to 6, period?
The interpretation and.
Who's got snow
This
and
is
how
only
much
3
snow?
3/4 inches and, you know,
So
anytime you leave something up for interpretation like that, well, there's only 3 inches on the west end of Main Street, there's 4 inches on the east end. Now, I think it's pretty common as far as municipalities go that, you know, wintertime parking rules is
change.
3 hour, I don't know.
So there would be absolutely no parking on Main Street from 3 AM to 6 AM every day, whether we got snow or whether we don't have
From
snow.
now till, say, April 15th, April 1st, April 15th, something like that, you know, just during the snow. You guys,
Got a problem with that? Got any
Read this.
issues? I mean, are we gonna hurt the bars that are, and the businesses that are there? The bars close at 2, everybody should be off Main Street before 3.
Should be.
Parking for those
And
that
people
live
that park in
upstairs,
back,
they
don't they?
park in back, I think.
Supposed to. Yeah, I'd be good for that.
So I'd put it in the paper, maybe we should make up a
bottom, or.
something and have it
Well, it is,
posted in each,
but that's how you should word it.
so
Put up
that
a
they see
flyer.
that too. Yes.
Put it on the
How
board.
you gonna enforce it? Enforce it? We do
There's an
everything
issue.
else?
And maybe in the water bills might be a good idea too, to put that in there, because I don't go, you know, to a lot of the businesses and I don't get the paper.
Leroy? Tim's doing.
Glad to come down and run anything.
What do you do
Yeah.
if there is a
Toll it. Where do you put 'em?
automatically first time bang?
Or whatever, I mean, you gotta set a rule and you gotta enforce it. If you're gonna make a rule.
I
Somebody's
know,
gotta be the
totally.
example at some point, you can't be like, oh,
Well,
Right.
yeah,
I think that it needs to be informed a
Yeah.
decent amount before, you can't just say, oh, tomorrow we're gonna start
Right.
this.
No,
It should be
But-
put on the paper stating that any vehicle that is left and is there will be towed away.
That's your expense,
And
yeah.
because you're not gonna pay the bill on it,
Right.
right?
So the question is where are we gonna tow it, where are we gonna park it? where does,
Tim, you gladly pay or charge storage.
so he'd take them back to Leroy?
Yep. Like I said, I mean, it's a great idea, but there ain't no sense talking about it if you can't afford it.
Right.
No.
Do you not know that there are services in town?
Yeah.
You suggest
And
that?
that's the problem with making just
Darn
a
good
stipulation,
news.
you
Yeah.
actually go parking from 3 to 6.
If you have somebody, if it's really cold and they can't get it started,
They come out of the bar drunk and don't wanna drive it.
yeah, I didn't wanna go there, but.
I thought it too. Should I mention it? Go ahead, watch him pull through you.
You know, Russ does towing too.
What?
Russ does towing too,
That's right, Russ does do toy.
and he's right in town.
Yep.
Mine don't start, I'll just hook on with something else and drag it home.
Yeah, but Kevin's got a point where, you know, in the wintertime, sometimes vehicles don't start. And it's not, we're not talking junkers here, we're talking vehicles. If we have the 4 inches or more in the paper, then that becomes, you know, I don't know if it's 4 inches or not. We've gotta have the vehicle.
Take the whole
You
snow
want it
out of there, or
snowing
just
or
have
just,
it all the time? Why don't you just leave it in the event of snow?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
Just, you know, the interpretation thing, you start putting amounts, and then
Exactly.
they're.
Right.
That's always that problem.
no.
Well, then your interpretation again.
any snow.
I'd
like to in the event of
snow.
Yeah.
Traces of snow and.
And just wipe out
Even if it's
in the
traces.
amount of,
In the event of snow.
there will be no vehicles allowed parked on Main Street of Lime Springs between 3 AM and 6 AM by order of city council. Towing, I mean, if they're there, we're gonna tow them.
And that's where the
I guess what's the point of putting a stipulation on it if you're not gonna do anything about it?
And he's right.
I mean, it'll deter some people to park there, but other people will just be like, oh, they don't enforce anything else, so.
Be nice to talk to a guy once.
Yep.
You know, I mean, in my head, I'd like to give somebody, hey, this is the ordinance, just like you do with everything else, send them a letter or speak to them, you know. I
And
guess that's
after
kind
that-
of courtesy.
And then
that I
after
would
that,
like.
do the towing?
Yeah,
If it happens
that's what I would
again.
do.
So how do we keep track?
You put a letter on, you just put, I keep, then I would have to keep track of it, maybe. put a
Take a
notice-
picture.
Put a note- put a notification on the window, post it.
Take your license plate down, call the sheriff, send them a letter.
There you go.
Send them a letter stating that if your car is left on Main Street again, and we have to possible to be towed.
This is your no, you only get one.
This is your
Yep,
notice.
that works for me.
Yep.
And then we'll hang something in the bars and in the businesses that state that basically the same thing, that they will be towed. Community calendar, yep, on the water bill. If Russ would tow them, does he have a place to put them?
Yes,
Does he have all the lights on his vehicle to tow a vehicle?
yes.
Okay. They don't want the sheriff coming in and telling us we can't have it towed by that route.
No, normally the sheriff's office is the one that calls him to do the towing now.
Okay.
He gets a lot of calls from them.
Does he have a business card?
I have one in the car I can give you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at any point in time, I mean, get a couple business cards into Rhonda,
Yep,
and we can put them on file.
okay,
And that way, if we need to tow somebody, we have, like, one in the city truck, we'll also get a hold of the guy out of Leroy. Tim. And it's kind of, if one can come, we go, and if we, you know, we go back and forth. Okay. We need a motion on that.
Should we?
Yes.
Because we're gonna spend money for the paper,
Right.
put an ad in the paper.
Oh, that. Make motion on
That's what I'm trying to think.
it. I was gonna say.
What are you gonna
wait for
word,
us to
how are you
make
gonna
motion.
word it?
I'll make a motion that at Seven Parks there. And the second
Second time.
event would result in towing of the vehicle.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Brian?
Yes.
Gavin?
Yes.
Cory?
Yeah.
Gary?
Yes.
Okay, that's it for Casey. Next issue is utility bill report. Anybody see any issues?
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it too and I didn't.
It's all secret.
Yeah. You get
We
to-
only check it.
I thought utility work was good.
So we're okay with the utility bill. Next issue. James. I have looked, I have talked to people, I have done my due diligence. As far as chickens are concerned, the council basically said last month, whatever, it's not an issue. I mean, even Rochester allows chickens. You're good to go. Living quarters upstairs. From what I can find, I can't tell you no. Absolutely not. There is nothing. The only thing that I will tell you is check with your mortgage, read your mortgage contract or your contract for deed, I don't know what you got, but some contract for deeds and some mortgages will actually say that you cannot do anything more than put a nail on the wall to hang a picture without the mortgager's approval. So just to protect yourself, check that out. But even when I checked with Howard County Economic Development and planning and zoning groups, they basically said having people living above the downtown area was a good thing. Because at that point, it has a tendency to stop vandalism, because you're there, you hear things, you see things, when normally the downtown area would be completely vacant. So, have a good time, hammer up. Okay. Next item up is Russell, and he's not here. But Tina is.
Uh-oh.
And Heidi is.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
This one's an interesting one.
Of course.
The chapter 23 that Russell gave me, these are basically, I couldn't figure out when I first looked at this, Iowa Administrative Code. It just kind of freaked me out because I've never seen a code that says Iowa Administrative Code. What this is actually the DNR agency regs themselves, okay? Took it to the attorney, got some guidance from him, went down, got some pictures from the assessor's office, found out that Howard County Conservation Board actually owns a good chunk of off to the south of us. Then I started thinking about it and I thought, okay, I got some more questions. So, when you have a bunch of trees that are sitting out there and we're burning them, to me that's kind of a waste. I mean, it's a natural resource that we are wasting. Everybody in town's looking for mulch, everybody in town's looking for firewood, whatever. Okay. So I started making some phone calls. Decorah, Waukon, Postville, Charles City, Waverly, Kelmer, and Cresco is now looking into this as well. They are going away from burning completely at their dumps. They are hiring a company to come in to grind everything. Leaves, trees, stumps, full logs. It's a little spendy. But we have to take a look at some of the options. There's a T&W grinding service out of New Delhi, or Delhi, Iowa. They will come in once or twice a year, and they will grind everything that we have out there. It's a $1,200 minimum charge at $600 an hour. Basically, at that point, you do not burn anything, everything just gets hauled out there and piled and stacked, and then you have this grinding company come in. Sounds like a great idea, then everybody can go pick up whatever amount of mulch, or like the leaves, compost, because they would even grind the leaves for compost. After I thought about it for a while, I thought, okay, well, the only thing that I can come up with that is a concern to me with that is emerald ash borer problems, Dutch elm disease. If we have a diseased tree or we have an emerald ash borer, can we have it chipped? I don't have the answer to that. I mean, I thought about that this afternoon, like, uh-oh, now I got a problem. So that's something that I need to talk to these people about. I need to talk to Rod Friedoff. He went down to Decorah today. They were actually grinding in Decorah today, and I couldn't go. But I would like to talk to T&W Grinding and find out what they do. We're at a point in time of the year right now where pretty much, I mean, we're done hauling limbs, leaves for the season. I mean, after tonight, we should have a snow cover on the ground. So my recommendation to council at this point would be to stop burning, and right now I believe the pile is smoldering. She should go out after we get a coating of snow. If not, we should be able to get maybe a dozer in. Maybe they have the fire department go out and dump a load of water on the pile to see if we can't put it out and not torch anything. And if somebody sets it on fire, at that point I'll file police charges to, have that done. And then take a look at it and see, would it be cost effective for what we spend out there a year for Casey to be out there with the loader pushing things around? Would it be cost effective for us to have it ground? Would we have to charge anybody that wanted to use it? Would we have to charge anybody that wanted to buy compost?
Or the wood
in order
chips.
to help offset the cost of the grinding? Don't know. As far as fence lines, the attorney, the way this is written, he said it really doesn't say how it would have to be fenced. The other problem is, when I look at the part that the county owns, the terrain that would have to be fenced in, I'm not sure it could be fenced in.
Doesn't it, if I understood that correctly, doesn't it only need to be fenced in if it's being burned?
You won't have a property.
It sounds like the entire property from that.
If regardless of if it's being used for a burn site or not?
No, just if we're burning.
Oh, okay,
Just
yeah,
if we're
okay, that's what
burning.
I thought, yeah.
Same thing with the manning of it. The way it's written here, it talks about something about that it's to be manned or to be defined. It's not defined on how it's to be supervised. And that was the first thing the attorney said when he looked at it. He went, this doesn't define. And I had actually gone and talked to Ed Miller. And he said, well, if it needs to be supervised, he said, I'm retired, I sit here and watch it all day long anyway. So when I mentioned that to the attorney said that could be classified as supervision.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of a,
But if it's
Okay.
not gonna be used as a burn site anymore, if you decided to go with the chipping, then the fence line and that's,
That's completely new.
And as far as the diseases that you were talking about, can you talk to Decorah in those towns? Is that what you're gonna talk to them about, to see how they work
How
through
do we
that?
Deal with that, yeah.
Okay.
And that's the same thing that I need to talk with the T&W grinding too. I need to find out exactly what it would cost. You know, they're looking at, I mean, these towns that I've called, they're a little bit bigger than we are.
Right.
Quite a bit.
I just didn't know if they could make an estimate as to like the town size, and if they looked
Exactly.
out there to see
Exactly.
what's out there, if they can estimate kind of what it would run or how long it would take, and,
Yeah, and that's my big thing, is how long would it take?
right, well, yeah,
If we don't have a bad year with storms, we don't have a lot of branches that come down, but then maybe we have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 dead trees, how many do we take this year?
Oh, shade probably.
8, okay, so if we were to take maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 trees down a year, because they're dead, they're hollow, and they're causing a safety issue, what would it cost us to have that ground done? The leaves, having the leaves ground, I'm not sure, do we really need to grind the leaves? Can we just flip them over with the tractor bucket
Right.
and turn them into, you know, compost, as
Right.
long as people clean their yards before they take their leaves off?
mm-hmm,
You know, I don't know.
right,
So, as far as I'm concerned at this point, the recommendation I can make at this point is that we stop burning until we get more information, and then we can figure out, do we wanna go with a grinding service? Is this the only grinding service that's around? Maybe not. I mean, this is the one that's taken on some of these larger towns. Maybe there's another one that would be out there.
mm-hmm,
From what I'm understanding, the grinding service, this grinder that comes in is mammoth. And it will take everything, and it will even go through metal. If there happens to be metal in the tree or whatever, the only thing that grinder can't handle is a heavy-duty log chain or a maul.
oh,
They kind of get spit out. There is a huge magnet on the outside of the float, and it pulls all the metal out. So if there's nails in the trees, if there's something with a nail, it'll pull it out.
cool,
So it's something that we need to look at. The other thing that was suggested is that we need to, maybe if we're not using it in the wintertime, maybe we do put some sort of a gate across. And I think we had a gate at one point on the driveway, and we don't plow there in the wintertime anyway. But we should have a sign out there that says what we will take. You know, what can be taken out there? Trees, limbs, branches, leaves, garden waste, you know, that kind of stuff. We do have an area for broken up concrete and asphalt off on the south side.
right.
So we need to, at least, we need to have a motion to put that part of it in process, where we put a sign out there, saying that what we will accept out there. And then I need to do some more calls and checking to find out about what the actual cost would be for us.
Do you know
And
what,
we'll bring-
I'm gonna use Decorah, Wakani, any of them, do they have, are they able to get rid of this stuff?
I don't know. I know in a bigger town, up in the Twin Cities and up in Rochester, when they have chipped, you'd better be there in line
Oh, really?
to get, yeah.
Decorah has this similar
Very
thing.
similar.
People are very active about it too.
Yep. And it's a good thing. Yeah, Joe.
Decorah doesn't charge anything for us to take, you know, tree limbs and everything out there. We can take leaves, tree limbs, any organic waste like that. You can go out to the site. They don't charge anything for it. They grind it and so forth. They stockpile it and turn those piles and so forth with end loaders, you know, city end loaders, basically. They don't charge anything if you wish to pick up chips or whatever. They don't normally, they separate the branches and trunk and so forth on one pile with leaves on the branches, but drop leaves and everything are gathered and hauled out, and grass clippings and everything go onto a different pile. So they have two separate units to begin with. The one they grind up completely, it goes over into another pile. And it takes some space, because you have different piles. But it's a very well-run situation, and I thank the people out there all the time, because I have a place to get rid of the yard waste.
Exactly.
I can pick up chips, I can pick up mulch like that, from the organic.
Where's that funding come from on our budget?
Same place, when the stuff gets hauled out there, it's out, I'm assuming it's out of the road tax. Because the trees come off of the boulevards and the trees are cut with road tax because it's maintenance of the road boulevards area. Any hours that Casey's out there doing, burning or piling stuff is classified to roads. And I believe when we've had to have Nemert come out with the excavator that time when we had the fire out there, I'm not sure where that one went to. I'm not positive on that one. So it's just kind of we need to do some more legwork on that one, but I would recommend that at this point, no burning until we get some data. We definitely need to have a sign no matter what, because we don't have one out there that talks about what we, will accept. And I'm not even sure that needs to be professional. Maybe we buy a 4x8 foot of plywood and a couple of posts to attach it. And we get maybe some artsy children who like stencils that could put, some kind of paint on there that says, this is what we will accept here.
Well, maybe first, we're past the burning season, really.
Yeah.
And maybe first you should do your investigating to see what they'll grant will be.
Yep.
Before we go up there and make a sign, this is what we take, what we won't take. Let's figure out what they're gonna grant and we're not gonna grant first.
Yeah.
I think we're beyond like we already said.
Well, we are.
My opinion.
We are.
Yeah.
But you said it's still smoldering out there right now?
But it isn't just smoldering from the wood though,
Yeah.
because somebody has taken leaves out there and lit the leaves on fire.
So we do have some issues with that.
Right.
If you wanna chain that then, you put the gate?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, there is
At this
a-
point, we need to change it. We don't know what they're gonna grind, if we have to have different files, and Casey's gonna have to be in charge of, what goes where.
Yeah, and then like I said, then you get the garbage and the stuff
That's not supposed to be
that's
out
hard
there.
to in places.
It's gonna have to be, it's gonna have to be manned.
I know years ago, it was chain, and you had to have someone unlock it,
Right.
taking things out there, or it was open certain hours.
Yeah.
And Leroy is, there's a chain.
It used to be that way when I first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to have Casey out there or somebody out there manning it for 3 hours on Saturday morning or Friday afternoon or whenever you decide to do it.
Yep.
Have them put on your sign and that's one thing they take it out there because as long as the gate's open, people are gonna take stuff out there. They
Oh, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Couch chairs.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
couches
right.
and chairs.
Oh, and we
All
found,
the junk goes out.
we have found all kinds of stuff.
Well, and they already do that with the compost pile. They don't.
You can't police it.
There's
they just take
diapers in
plastic
that
bags
and-
And everything else, and
Yep.
throw it out there in the compost pile. Well, that plastic will rot.
No.
So maybe motion that no burn out there,
No burning, period.
no burning out there.
Right.
Yeah, and then just to get some more information about every other question.
Till next, table till next meeting.
Yep,
Yep.
chain it and table it till next meeting, and by that time I should be able to get to, see if there's other places other than this T&W. And I also wanna talk to Decorah, I wanna talk to Rod, he went down and he was looking today, and I believe some of the Cresco, council, and I think Mark Bowley might have gone today too. But they were gonna go watch and grind and ask the questions. And I'm sure they're looking at it just like we are, what's the cost? And, is it gonna be cost effective for us to do this? I mean, if I take the time that we've been spending out there burning whatever versus whatever, are we gonna work ourselves out? And that's, we're gonna have to look at it. So, but that's where I'm at with that.
Thanks, Barb. That was,
Philip Smith, when he started that compost pile, there was a sign, I don't know if it's still out there or not.
I think there's a sign by that, oh, I don't know.
yeah, there was by that compost pile, wasn't there?
Yeah, but anyway, before you do anything with a sign, I know you're not gonna, but there was a sign there.
Okay.
At one time, don't make a sign if there's already one there.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
people didn't listen to the sign anyway. But anyway, there is one there.
Okay. Okay, so we're done with that for until next month. Building permits, Case, did we have any? No building permits.
No.
Okay. Complaint letters, we have 3 of them.
Time of year for building permits.
Mhm.
They're right behind each other.
Yep. Just my hands are cold, I can't get my papers to move.
Mhm. It's cold here.
Okay, first one. Marshall Wells was burning. No one was outside watching. It wasn't smoldering, there were flames. James, she wasn't anywhere in sight at all.
No, it was dark out. I went by it when I came back from the plaza, and then I went back to see if, she just, I couldn't see her the first time or whatever. There's definitely nobody outside.
Was it 50 feet from any structure?
It
Open
was in the
burning has
middle
to
of the
be
garden
50
is where
feet.
it was, and she was burning, leftover crap from her
Yeah.
garden from the summer, and I'm sure leaves or whatever.
Next one is,
The next one's pretty old.
the next one is very old, and I have never seen it. And I don't think it's ever been brought to council, and that was why she came back in and talked to Rhonda. We have some dogs that seem to be roaming from this woman's house, Brenda Rattler's house, into Nick and Amy Norton's house, or their yard. And they seem to be doing their business in Nick and Amy Norton's yard. And Nick and Amy, as we all know, have several children that go out and play in the yard. I believe the rule is that dogs are to be kept on a leash and in your own property unless they are on a leash. So that's another issue. Okay, yeah, and Mitch and Deb Smith, they have the same issue. April Cheeseman was walking her dog, and one of the dogs decided to use their yard as the restroom. So.
That's a bad one.
Huh?
That with her dogs.
Yeah.
They're loose, the big one, she doesn't even have it on a leash, and it comes up into our yard all the time and does its duty too, so it's a real problem, and it'll take off if it sees a stray cat, and she has no control over them.
Okay, and she does have on here, and I know I talked to Deb, and she said that you're right, the large one was not on the leash at that time. So all 3 of these, from what I can see, they all 3 need letters. Am I correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, and I will work with Rhonda, I know we have letters on file to use for guidance. And, but I'll work with Rhonda, and we'll get those out. Put a note on there, we'll put that on this week's work list.
All right.
And we'll get all 3 letters sent out this week. Okay. Oh, the next one is ugly. The lovely little sewer project and the water project that we've been talking about, off and on, and I'm only going to give estimates because that's all we got at this point, we're in the process. but I'm looking at a report that came. Okay, fine. Okay, George, I'm looking at figures here. $2,223,300, and this is off of, the wastewater, sewer activity descriptions, wastewater treatment plant improvements report thing. That's what our new sewer plant upgrades is gonna cost us. In today's world, each household pays about, I think, something like $24 in water fees, and the current average monthly residential bills, water fees are about $24 as an average, sewer fee is about $15 as an average. In order for us to finance $2,223,300, the average monthly cost per service to finance the project is gonna be somewhere between $41 and $46 per month. So we are looking at
That's the increase.
increase. Am I correct, George?
I'm not sure. Can I look at that
Sure,
report
come on.
briefly?
Are you talking about the water and the sewer portion?
No.
Sewer.
This would just be sewer, I'm sure of that, because you're talking about in the report.
Okay, there's that part, and where I've got my finger shows
Yeah.
that.
That's what it looks like, the extra.
Yeah, so it'd be an extra 40, somewhere, but if we get the CDBG grant, it would be like $41 a month extra. And if we don't get the CDBG grant, it would be like 40, close to $46, somewhere in there. Give or take, I mean, and we're looking at estimates only. So, you two will not be here in January. The other three of you.
You won't either, right?
It's gonna croak.
Oh, he won't be here in
Well, you won't be here in January, but you're still
Oh,
here
yeah.
to have to deal with this. You will be up here in January, so you might wanna start thinking about this. We need to increase our sewer and water rates. Sewer and water is supposed to be self-sustaining. What we spend out is what we need to take in to pay for it. With everything that we've had to do on the well house up here, we're not doing real well. And now we're gonna add another 2.23 mil, that's gonna be a chunk. So if we increase, what we've been increasing is like about 5%, which comes out to what? I think 50 cents to $1 on a bill a month. We're not gonna get there real quick. I won't live long enough to get there. So, it's kind of, it's something we need to think about. Do we wanna start now, which would be a good idea, to try to get a little headway on this? I mean, we're looking at, our payments, it looks like from this report, per month for the city is gonna be something like $12,000 a month to make payment on this project or on the loans. It's gonna be a chunk.
For what duration, the 12,000 a month?
George,
20 years.
20 years.
Forever.
20 years, 15 months.
Infinity.
I'm quite sure that when we spoke of whether that was an increase or whether it was total, that would be the total charge for wastewater per resident average,
Okay.
not an increase on top of the 15 that already was.
So it's not a 200% increase, it's only a 100% increase, basically.
Pretty close.
Well, it's probably more, it's
Close
almost
to 15
Well,
before.
from 20 to 41.
I think the wastewater was 15. Did I write that down?
15.
No,
Yeah. See, and that would be roughly 3 times the wastewater.
Water fees are $24 a month, and sewer fees are average about $15 a month.
And what are you proposing they would be going up to, perhaps?
41.
approximately
That's
41 to
if we get the
47.
CDBG grant
41 total or for each, total?
total.
Okay.
Total for the sewer.
Yes.
You still got your water on top of it.
Well, yeah, so I'm saying like my water bill right now, the whole total, which was, then I would add the 42, whatever that is now, basically is, yeah.
And we can't, I mean, there is no way, I mean, if we made a motion
You would
to
get shot.
increase shot, well, and here's the choice. I mean, we have to do this, and we have to figure out how to pay for it. The only way we can pay for it is increase the rates. And if we don't do it, everybody's gonna have a
flush your
little,
toilet.
no, everybody's gonna have a little blue outhouse sitting in their yard that you're gonna pay for
We can't do that, I just put that new sewer line in.
I know, I know.
You can't do it at increasing 5%.
No, so we have
I
to
don't
look
think you
at,
can bite 200% in 1 year.
no,
But
no.
5% is not even realistic.
exactly. So somewhere in between there, so start thinking about it, because we're gonna talk about it very seriously in January. And whatever increase we come up with will go into effect July 1st, or with the, I'm gonna say July 1st, probably the July billing, which would be the end of the month, but I see here it says effective 7/1. So it's kind of something, do we start out, because any money that we get in now, we can bank for when the project gets going, that we will have the money there to use. And what we don't get on grant money and what isn't bonded, we will have to borrow. And if we can get DNR loans, they will give them to us at a lot cheaper rate. But the problem is, they take a look at what your current rates are, and if you're not helping yourself, they're not gonna help you with a 0% interest rate. So it's either we kinda help ourselves now, or we really get slam dunked later. So that's something that's going on the January agenda. Next item, Chester Skating Rink. It's been, somebody has inquired, and it is not coming from Chester, but somebody from town here has inquired if we could possibly put Chester Skating and like some of the get-togethers in the surrounding communities, like the Protovan Check Days, and put stuff like that in our water bill, in our little calendar type thing.